So a quadratic equation is an equation of the highest degree x power 2 or x squared. So this is a standard or order of a quadratic equation where we have a x squared plus b x plus c is equals to 0. Any equation where you're going to see that it has a x squared plus bx plus c, that is what a quadratic equation, where a is not equals to 0. Okay, provided this a is not equals to 0, the value here attached to the x squared is not to 0, that equation is a quadratic equation. Okay, so solving quadratic equation by factorization, we have to take note of the following. We have to take note or we have to define the product. We also have to define the sum, and we have to define the factors. So how do we find the product? We know that finding a product means we are multiplying factors. So how do we find the product of a quadratic equation? We simply multiply the first number here, the number attached to the x squared, times the constant. So the first number times the constant is equal to what? The product. So in this case, it is a times c. A times c is our product. Finding the sum. The sum is just the middle number. This middle number is our sum. In this case, it's b. How do we find the product? The factors. The factors, simply say the numbers, which when we multiply them, they give us the product of AC. We add them, they give us the product, the sum of B. Let us take a look at this example. When we have, example, if we have, let's say, x squared plus 5x minus 3 is equals to 0. We are finding this quadratic equation by factorization. So the first thing to take note here is our quadratic equation in a standard form? We have to check yes. If a quadratic equation is not in a standard form, we have to try by all means to make it into this standard form. As you can see, this a, where there was a here, now there's a 2. Where there was a b that side, now there's a 5, and negative 3 where in the place of what? C is equals to 0. So we have to find the product. Product, this p here means stand for p, product. So how do we find the product? We simply say the first number times the last number. So in this case, it is 2 times negative 3. We are getting negative 6. Next step is to find the sum. This S here denotes or stands for sum. The sum we just said is a middle number. In this case, is this 5. Next is to find the factors. How do we find the factors? We said we have to look for two numbers, which when we multiply them, they are giving us what? A negative 6. We add them, they are giving us a sum of 5. What are those two numbers? Now, take note here. Our product is negative, and our sum is positive, meaning one of our factors should be negative. One of our factors should be negative. So if you take negative 1 and positive 6, when we multiply these, negative 1 times 6, negative 1 times 6, this is giving us a negative 6. That is our product there. Here. Let us try to add these. Negative 1 plus 6, they are giving us Negative 1 plus 6 is giving us a positive 5. Why? Because our big number here is positive. So when we have a negative and a plus, we subtract them, but we get the sign of a bigger number. In this case, our bigger number was 6, but we subtracted here to get what? A 5. This is what? Our sum here. So the factors that we are going to use is 1, negative 1, and positive 6 there. We're going to write, to copy this equation as it is, we're going to say negative 2x squared. Now, where there is this part for sum, we substitute by what? By our factors here. The place of b, or the sum, is taken by what? The factors. That was the purpose of us finding the factors. So if we take our factors here and put them here, we're going to have negative x. Take note that this negative x is this one here. So there's no point of us putting a 1 here. It won't make sense. So this negative x is this same one here. Okay. Plus this 6, we are going to put it here, plus 6 minus 3 is equals to 0. This 3 here minus 3. Now take note that this, when we add them, 1 negative x plus 6x. This, when we sum them up, they are giving us what? This sum of 5x. Okay, so our next step now, since we're dealing with a factorization, our next step is to group them. So we're going to say 2x squared minus x, cross brackets, come to this second part, plus, open bracket, 3x minus 3 is equals to what? 0. We have grouped them. Now we have to start factorizing. We check in each bracket what's common. So in our first brackets, what's common is x. So if you factor out the x from this, we're going to have x, open the bracket, x into 2x squared, we are going to have 2x minus x into x, it's 1. Close brackets like that. Next, what's common in here? So take this plus 3. What's common here is 3. Open bracket. 3 into 6x, we have 2x. 3 into 3 is 1. Negative 1 there. Because this is positive 3 into negative 3. It's what? Negative 1. Cross brackets. Okay. Now, when you reach this stage, make sure you check that what you have in the brackets is exactly the same. If you have different sign here, maybe for example, here's a positive and there's a negative, just know that you have made a mistake somewhere. Always what's in the brackets should be what? The same. When you reach this stage, you can just get this x in front, x, and get this 3 on the middle. You put them together to be plus 3, cross brackets. Now, since these are the same, just pick one to be 2x minus 1 is equals to what? To 0. At this stage now, we are going to equate each of our factors to 0. We're going to have x plus 3 is equals to 0, or 2x minus 1 is equals to 0. Now, the additive inverse of positive is what? Negative. Meaning, when this positive crosses the other side, it will be negative. So, 3x is equals to what? Negative 3. The other side, our target is to find the value of x. So, we're going to say 2x is equals to, this negative 1 crosses the other side, it becomes a positive 1. We divide both sides by 2, so that this 2 and this 1 goes. We're going to remain with x is equals to to 1 over 2. So this 1 over 2 or half and negative 3x, sorry, negative x3 are the what? The roots of this quadratic equation, solving by factorization. In case there's any question, you are free to ask. Thank you.